Well, it's almost Thanksgiving, and typical of this time of year, there is little holiday get-togethers happening all over the place, and I'm going to one tonight, and I said that I would bring a dessert. So I know we have some chocolate addicts in the group, so I right away thought of my Pop It in the Toaster Oven cookbook, because there's a recipe, and it's on page 210, for orange glazed brownies. What's even better is that these brownies take an orange glaze on the top after they're all baked, and I'll show you how to make that. But first, I'm going to show you the ingredients that I've assembled for this very, very simple and lovely brownie recipe. But before I do that, I'm going to set my toaster oven to 350 to preheat. So this is what you'll need for this recipe. It's really quite simple. I have 2 eggs here. I have 3 squares of unsweetened dark baking chocolate. Over here is 3 tablespoons of margarine. You can use butter. I'm using margarine. And a cup of sugar. That's just your refined sugar, nothing fancy. Here is a half a cup of orange juice. Then over here in this mixing bowl I have a cup and a half of unbleached flour. And I have here a tablespoon of orange zest. So that's about 1 orange, 1 large orange, and just, if you have a zester, you can grate that rind right off of the orange, and that's what's going to make that lovely flavor. And then I have 1 teaspoon of baking powder here. So the other thing is I'm using just this little, I think this is an 8x8 foil pan because I'm taking it to this get-together tonight. And also, if you have a mixer, that would be a good thing to use for this recipe. If you don't have a mixer, though, you can just mix it by hand, and that will work. And then over here, I have just a medium mixing bowl. So what you'll want to do first is melt the margarine and the 3 squares of chocolate together. If you just have a toaster oven, you can actually melt the baking chocolate and the margarine on broil setting in the pan, in this pan right here, for about 3 minutes or until it's melted. So, and when you melt it, you will just want to melt it and watch it because you don't want to really cook anything. So now the chocolate mixture is going into the mixing bowl. Okay, so now here's the chocolate mixture, and I'm going to add the eggs. 2 eggs here, a cup of sugar, and the orange juice. And now I'm going to just beat those together with my electric mixer. And now I'm going to stir in the remaining ingredients, which is going to be the baking powder, and the flour, and the orange zest. And I could just mix that with a spoon. And I've added about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I think that when you're making something very sweet, adding a little salt really makes that sweetness a little bit richer. Now, just pour the mixture into the pan. Okay, so the toaster oven is up to temperature, so in goes the pan with the brownie batter in it. I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. That's what the recipe says. And I'll check this to make sure that if I insert a toothpick in the center, it should come out clean, and then I'll know it's done. Okay, so now I'm going to, while the brownies are baking, I'm going to make the glaze. And that is going to take a cup of orange juice, and a half a cup. I'm going to put it on medium heat. And this mixture is going to be reduced. So it's probably going to take, I would say, about 10 minutes on the stove. Now, if you want to, you could do it in your toaster oven as well, in a pan, and broil it for about 10 minutes as well. Okay, you can see that the orange juice and sugar mixture is boiling away, and I'm going to keep boiling it like this for 10 minutes or until it gets thicker, so for the glaze. So while the glaze is reducing, I've taken the brownies out. I can see that just by inserting a toothpick, the toothpick is clean, and so those brownies are done. I've got a little fault line here. I don't quite know why, but what we're going to do is just keep on poking holes in it anyway, so that when the glaze is put on, it's going to seep into the brownies. So that glaze took about 10 minutes, and you can see that it is reduced and thickened, and it's a lot like the consistency of maple syrup. So I'm just going to drizzle the glaze on to the top of the brownies, and you can see that, you know, it's going to be sinking into all those little holes I made. So that's one really fantastically sweet dessert. Not that you can't put some vanilla ice cream on that. And when this cools, I'll cut it into slices and have it all ready for that get-together.